The next Lourdes may already exist, but most Catholics have not heard its name yet. It may not be a famous grotto in France or a great Marian shrine known across the world. It may be a desert chapel in Arizona, a monastery hidden in rural Oklahoma, a tomb in the mountains of Lebanon, a house of mercy in Kolkata, or a sanctuary where pilgrims are already arriving with sickness, grief, guilt, hope, and a hunger for God. Every great Catholic pilgrimage site begins before the world notices. Before Lourdes became known to millions, it was a quiet grotto near a small French town. Before Fatima became one of the great Marian shrines of the Church, it was only a field where 3 children said heaven had spoken. None of the places in this journey have become the next Lourdes yet, but each one reveals something powerful about where Catholic devotion is growing, where people are still seeking healing, and where ordinary ground is becoming a living sign of faith. In this video, we are traveling to 10 emerging Catholic pilgrimage sites that may become some of the most important spiritual destinations of the 21st century, from Marian shrines and desert chapels to monasteries, tombs, places of radical mercy, and one shrine connected to a young saint who may speak more directly to the digital generation than almost anyone else. If you love discovering the hidden places where Catholic history, beauty, and devotion come alive, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next journey. Number 10. The Basilica of Our Lady of Good Health in Vailankanni, India. On the southeastern coast of India, where pilgrims arrive with candles, flowers, bare feet, and prayers carried across long distances, the Basilica of Our Lady of Good Health in Vailankanni has become one of the most powerful Marian destinations in Asia. Many call it the Lourdes of the East, not because it copies Lourdes, but because people come here with the same kind of hope, the sick asking for healing, families asking for protection, parents praying for children, and ordinary Catholics placing their pain before the Mother of God. The story of Vailankanni reaches back to traditions of Marian apparitions and miracles, including the healing of a boy and the rescue of sailors who believed they had been saved through the intercession of Our Lady. Over time, that local devotion grew into a massive pilgrimage movement. The White Basilica, with its striking Gothic style, now receives millions of pilgrims each year, especially around the Feast of the Nativity of Mary on September 8th. The crowds are not just tourists. They come with vows, thanksgiving, tears, and petitions that make the shrine feel intensely alive. Vailankanni belongs on this list because it shows where the future of Catholic pilgrimage is moving. It is not only Europe that draws the Catholic world anymore. Asia is becoming more visible, and India's Catholic communities are giving the global church places of deep devotion and powerful witness. The Vatican's recent support for devotion to Our Lady of Good Health has only increased attention to the shrine, but the deeper force was already there: a mother, a people, a coast, and generations of pilgrims who believe Mary still leads the suffering to Christ. Number 9. The Shrine of Our Lady of the Sierras in Hereford, Arizona. High in the desert landscape of southern Arizona, the Shrine of Our Lady of the Sierras feels very different from the crowded pilgrimage cities of Europe. There is no ancient medieval town surrounding it, no massive basilica filled with centuries of royal history, and no endless stream of tour buses from around the world. Instead, pilgrims find a mountain view, a stone chapel, a towering cross, and a statue of the Virgin Mary standing over the desert as if watching quietly over the valley. Built in the late 1990s, the shrine has grown because it offers something many modern Catholics are quietly seeking: space. The desert strips away noise. The climb toward the chapel slows the body down. The open sky makes prayer feel simple again. For people tired of crowded cities, crowded schedules, and crowded minds, this place offers a pilgrimage of silence, not spectacle. It is small enough to feel personal, but striking enough to stay in memory. Its story became even more meaningful after the 2011 monument fire, when flames damaged the surrounding area but left the cross and statue standing. For many pilgrims, that image became part of the shrine's identity. Fire came close, but the signs of faith remained. Our Lady of the Sierras is emerging not because it is the largest shrine in America, but because it gives Catholics a desert sanctuary where beauty, quiet, and trust meet. If Vilancani feels like a river of pilgrims, this Arizona shrine feels like a still breath before Mary. Number 8. The Sanctuary of Our Lady of the Rosary of San Nicolas, Argentina. In San Nicolas, Argentina, a modern city became the center of a Marian devotion that began quietly and grew into a major regional pilgrimage. The story is tied to reported apparitions of the Virgin Mary to Gladys Quiroga de Mata beginning in the early 1980s. But the real force of the shrine is not only the extraordinary claim, it is the message that followed. Prayer, conversion, the rosary, scripture, and a return to God. The sanctuary developed around this devotion and began drawing large crowds, especially every September 25th. Pilgrims come with rosaries in hand, moving through the city with a sense that Mary is not distant from ordinary life. San Nicolas is not famous because of ancient ruins or grand European history. Its power comes from the feeling that a normal place was interrupted by a maternal call to repentance and faith. The Church's approval of the apparitions as supernatural by the local bishop gave San Nicolas stronger credibility and wider attention. That matters because modern Catholics are careful, and they should be. Not every claim becomes a shrine. Not every story becomes a pilgrimage. San Nicolas has grown because devotion, discernment, and local faith came together. It may not yet be a household name for Catholics around the world, but it carries the pattern seen in many great Marian shrines. A humble beginning, a call to prayer, a growing flow of pilgrims, and a sense that Mary is still leading people back to her Son. Number 7. Cristo Rey del Cubilete en Guanajuato, Mexico. On a mountain in Guanajuato, near the heart of Mexico, Cristo Rey del Cubilete rises above the land with a message that is impossible to miss. This is not a hidden shrine tucked quietly behind village walls. It is a pilgrimage of height, ascent, and proclamation. Pilgrims look up and see Christ the King standing over the landscape, a reminder that Catholic faith in Mexico has never been only private devotion. It has also been a public confession marked by love, struggle, and sacrifice. The statue, inaugurated in the 20th century, stands on one of the country's most symbolic mountains. Its angels, its crowns, and its sanctuary speak of martyrdom and glory, themes deeply connected to Mexico's Catholic memory. For many pilgrims, the journey is not simply about reaching a beautiful viewpoint. It is about placing themselves again under the kingship of Christ in a world where political powers rise and fall, but the gospel remains. Cristo Rey del Cubilete is becoming more accessible because of improved roads, lighting, signage, and infrastructure. But access alone does not explain its attraction. People come because the place gives them a physical expression of faith. They climb, they look outward, they pray, and they remember that Christ's kingship is not an idea trapped in a book. It is a truth that can stand above a nation. In an age of uncertainty, this mountain shrine offers Catholics something bold, a pilgrimage that does not whisper the name of Christ, but lifts it into the sky. Number 6. The Blessed Michael McGivney Pilgrimage Center in New Haven, Connecticut. Not every emerging pilgrimage site begins with an apparition or an ancient miracle. Some begin with a priest who saw suffering in front of him and answered it with faith. The Blessed Michael McGivney Pilgrimage Center in New Haven, Connecticut tells the story of a parish priest whose life became a model of practical holiness, especially for Catholic families facing poverty, insecurity, prejudice, and loss. Blessed Michael McGivney founded the Knights of Columbus because he understood that faith had to protect real people in real pain. He saw widows, orphans, immigrant workers, fathers under pressure, and Catholic families who needed more than words. They needed spiritual care, material support, brotherhood, and dignity. That is why his story feels surprisingly modern. Many Catholics today are still asking how the Church can strengthen families, form men, protect the vulnerable, and bring faith into daily life. The Pilgrimage Center presents his life through exhibits, sacred objects, galleries, media, and spaces of reflection. It is not a pilgrimage site of dramatic natural scenery. It is a pilgrimage into the heart of parish charity. Visitors do not come here to escape the modern world, but to see how holiness can work inside it. Since his beatification, interest in McGivney has grown, and this center may become one of the most important American pilgrimage destinations for Catholics who want a saintly model close to ordinary family life. Its message is clear. Holiness can begin in a parish office, beside a sickbed, inside a struggling family, and in the quiet decision to serve. Number 5. The tomb of Saint Charbel Makhlouf in Anaya, Lebanon. In the mountains of Lebanon, the tomb of Saint Charbel Makhlouf draws pilgrims into a different kind of silence. Anaya is not loud. It does not need to be. The power of this place comes from the life of a Maronite monk who spent himself in prayer, poverty, obedience, and hidden union with God. Saint Charbel did not seek fame, yet his tomb has become one of the most magnetic Catholic pilgrimage sites in the Middle East. Pilgrims come to Anaya with sickness, grief, family wounds, and prayers for healing. Many bring testimonies of favors received through Saint Charbel's intercession. His devotion has spread far beyond Lebanon, reaching Catholics across the world and even drawing people from outside the Christian faith. That wide appeal gives Anaya a rare spiritual character. It feels like a place where silence becomes a bridge, where holiness speaks across borders, and where a hidden monk becomes a sign of God's nearness. Anaya is emerging globally because the modern world is exhausted by noise, and Saint Charbel offers the opposite. He offers stillness, surrender, and the mystery of a life completely given to God. In a wounded Middle East, his tomb stands as a place of prayer rather than argument, healing rather than despair. The next Lourdes may not look like a famous grotto. It may look like a mountain monastery where pilgrims discover that silence can heal what words cannot reach. Number 4. The Pilgrimage Center of Eucharistic Adoration and Special Marian Devotion in Alele, Nigeria. In Alele, Nigeria, pilgrimage feels urgent, alive, and deeply connected to the real burdens people carry. The Pilgrimage Center of Eucharistic Adoration and Special Marian Devotion is not a quiet cultural stop for religious travelers. It is a place where thousands come before the Eucharist and the Blessed Virgin Mary, with sickness, family struggles, infertility, spiritual burdens, fear, and the hope that God can still intervene. Founded in the 1980s by Father Emmanuel Eda, the center has grown into a major Catholic spiritual hub. Pilgrims gather for adoration, Marian devotion, prayer for healing, deliverance, peace, and renewal. The atmosphere is intense because the needs are intense. People do not come only to admire architecture. They come to pray with expectation. They come because faith in many parts of Africa remains public, emotional, sacramental, and unashamed. Alele belongs on this list because it represents the future energy of African Catholicism. As Catholic life continues to grow across Africa, pilgrimage sites like this will become more important to the global church. The center's connection to major national Catholic gatherings points to its rising prominence, but its real power is simpler. People come with wounds and kneel before Christ. In a world that often hides suffering behind polite language, Alele brings suffering directly into prayer and asks for grace without embarrassment. Number 3. The Shrine of St. Teresa of Kolkata at Mother House in India. Mother House in Kolkata does not impress pilgrims through size. It moves them through simplicity. The tomb of St. Teresa of Kolkata rests in the headquarters of the Missionaries of Charity, the community she founded to serve the poorest of the poor. Pilgrims enter a place that feels close to the ground, close to suffering, and close to the kind of holiness that does not need decoration. The power of Mother House comes from the contrast between global fame and radical humility. Mother Teresa became one of the most recognized Catholic figures of the modern age, yet the place most connected with her remains simple: a tomb, a chapel, a museum, personal belongings, and the memory of a woman who made mercy visible. Visitors see not an idea, but a life, a sari, a rosary, a room, a path of service, and a question that follows every pilgrim out the door. What will you do for Christ in the person who suffers? Since her canonization, Mother House has become a stronger pilgrimage destination for Catholics, volunteers, travelers, and people searching for a faith that can be seen in action. Its importance will likely grow because modern people are tired of religious words that never become love. Mother Teresa's shrine answers with witness. It says that pilgrimage is not only about going somewhere holy, it is about becoming someone more merciful. If Lourdes draws the sick to Mary, Mother House draws the comfortable toward the poor, and that may be one of the most necessary pilgrimages of this century. Number 2. Our Lady of Clear Creek Abbey in Hulbert, Oklahoma. In rural Oklahoma, Our Lady of Clear Creek Abbey has become an unexpected destination for Catholics searching for stillness, tradition, and a deeper rhythm of prayer. It is not a famous European monastery. It is not surrounded by ancient Catholic cities. It is a Benedictine abbey in the American landscape, founded by monks from France, where chant, silence, liturgy, and monastic discipline draw people away from the noise of modern life. Clear Creek is emerging because many Catholics are hungry for rootedness. They want a faith that feels ancient, embodied, and stable. They want Gregorian chant instead of constant noise. They want prayer that moves slowly. They want beauty that does not feel disposable. The Abbey offers retreats and a living monastic witness that speaks strongly to families, young adults, and Catholics drawn to traditional worship. Its rise has become even more visible through the Three Hearts Pilgrimage, a penitential walk that ends at the Abbey and draws pilgrims from across the United States. That journey matters because it turns faith into movement. Pilgrims walk, pray, tire, sing, and arrive, changed by the road itself. Clear Creek may become one of America's defining pilgrimage sites because it gives modern Catholics what many did not know they needed: silence with structure, beauty with discipline, and a place where the soul can remember that God is not rushed. Number 1. The Shrine of St. Carlo Acutis in Assisi, Italy. In Assisi, a city already shaped by St. Francis and St. Clare, a new pilgrimage story has risen around St. Carlo Acutis, the young saint of the digital age. His tomb in the Sanctuary of the Renunciation draws families, students, youth groups, priests, religious and international pilgrims because Carlo feels close to the world young people actually live in. He wore sneakers. He used computers. He loved the Eucharist. He died young, and through his brief life, he showed that holiness is still possible in the middle of modern life. Carlo's appeal is not only that he was young, it is that he answered a wound many young people understand: the hunger for meaning in a world full of screens, speed, distraction, and loneliness. He did not reject technology, but he refused to let technology become his master. He used his gifts to point others to Eucharistic miracles and to the real presence of Christ. That is why his shrine feels so timely. It gives the digital generation a saint who speaks their language without surrendering to their distractions. Since his canonization, devotion to Carlo has grown even more, and Assisi has become a major destination for those who want to encounter his witness. Pilgrims do not come only to see a young saint in modern clothing. They come because his life asks a direct question. If a teenager in the age of the internet could place the Eucharist at the center of his life, what is stopping us? For that reason, his shrine stands at the top of this list. It may become one of the defining pilgrimage sites of the 21st century, not because it replaces Lourdes, but because it speaks to a wound Lourdes did not have to face, a generation connected to everything and still searching for communion. These 10 places do not need to become another Lourdes to matter. Valankani carries Marian healing on the coast of India. Our Lady of the Sierras offers desert silence in Arizona. San Nicolas calls Argentina back to the Rosary. Cristo Rey del Cubalite lifts Christ the King above Mexico. Blessed Michael McGivney's Center turns parish charity into pilgrimage. Anaya draws the world to the silence of St. Charbel. Ileli brings Africa's wounds before the Eucharist and Mary. Mother House makes mercy visible in Kolkata. Clear Creek Abbey gives America a road back to monastic stillness. Assisi offers the Church a young saint for the digital age. The next great Catholic pilgrimage story may not look like Lourdes at all. It may rise on a mountain, rest beside a tomb, hide inside a desert chapel, breathe through a monastery, or live quietly in a house of charity where wounded people discover that God is still near. Some of these places are already known across the world. Others are still quietly entering the heart of the wider church. Yet each one reminds us that the power of a pilgrimage site is not only how many people arrive, but how many leave changed. Which of these emerging Catholic pilgrimage sites touched your heart the most, and which one would you want to visit first? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this journey opened your eyes to the living beauty of the Catholic Church around the world, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next story of faith, history, and hope. May the Lord guide your steps. May Our Lady watch over your pilgrimage, and may every road you travel bring you a little closer to Christ.